I am joined by Dr. MJ Riches, an NSF Postdoctoral Research Fellow in the Farmer Lab at Colorado State University. With unique background in blending art and science, Dr. Riches is here to share insights on how this powerful intersection is evolving, fostering creativity in research, and opening new pathways for discovery and collaboration. Dr. Riches, thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited to be here.
So when AGU first introduced kind of the arts and sciences sessions, there was certainly some skeptics. What has been your point of view as you've seen this landscape kind of change over time?
So within the past 5 years particularly, it's been a really amazing shift. When I first started coming to AGU, the science parts of it were always well attended, but the art parts were really well attended mostly by early career scientists. Since then, I've seen a remarkable shift. Now we have more senior scientists coming, and here they are doing the science art, not just for the fun of doing science art in the middle of AGU, which is fun, but also to learn something and learn a few things. I've had folks reach out to me afterwards saying that they were able to include some of what they learned in their classes or in their grants.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, as somebody who's really passionate about science communication, I find more and more as I try to convey concepts to the general public or to lay audiences that visuals and art is so important in that. And as we kind of move forward, we're living in uncertain times with the new administration taking office. So with that, what concerns you and where are you looking for areas of possible common ground that maybe the arts can help propel?
I think a lot concerns me. As an early career researcher, especially the question of where's the next paycheck coming from. So many of us are interested in positions where the future is uncertain. So I think as early career folks in particular are kind of like eyeing back and forth. But what also concerns me is misinformation and mistrust. And I think that's particularly where science art comes from. I think a lot of folks understand the power of science art to communicate scientific messages, but science art can also communicate our humanity. I think it's important for the general public, which we're also a part of, but for the general public to really understand that not only are we humans, we have a say, we have a need for the future. We have hobbies, families, properties, all at risk with climate change. And so from that common ground perspective, I'm as concerned as the folks who live on the coast are. And I think using science art to convey that humility, to convey that humanity, to make it clear what I'm interested in outside of the science and make us less fearful.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, what do you think is next for art and science? Or where do you think art can take science next? And where do you think science can take art?
So I've thought a lot about this, and I remember my childhood, and I think so many of us get to grow up on like visuals, right? So we start reading picture books for fun, reading comics. And I think that visual aspect then has been ingrained into us. It's fun, it's how so many of us start learning languages and learning creativity, be it the Very Hungry Caterpillar or Cat in the Hat. And I think that instills then the power of visuals. Even to this day, science art can take and bring that art into the scientific field to help convey what science really means. And that's where the literacy comes in from scientific literacy and using art to kind of build that. From a science perspective, there's a few things we can do. We can reach out to artists to help build those relationships, to help share our science. Science artists can really only do as much as they know scientifically, and reading papers is great, but hearing directly from scientists is even more powerful. And I think at the end of the day, whether it's through grant funding or through these kinds of communications, having as a scientist that desire to learn about science art. If you're in a position to encourage your colleagues, to encourage your group to have some amount of experience firsthand with science communication. I'm biased towards art, but science communication as a whole, I think that's really powerful. We aren't trained in this, but we're expected to know it. And so really trying firsthand will gain that experience and that appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you said about building relationships. That's a common thing we've heard over and over again with these interviews is whatever the topic, building relationships is the first step to really build whatever the intersection that we're trying to build is. And with science and art, that is a really important thing for us to reach out to the artists and have those conversations. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing all this.
Thank you for having me.